Hey you guys, welcome back to Rocket City Yardstead. I'm so glad you're here. I'm Sarah. If you're new, welcome. So I have about 2 pounds of cherry tomatoes here. They are the gift that my garden keeps on giving, for which I am grateful. However, I have also reached my limit of things that I'm interested in preserving for the year. We've made plenty of cherry tomato salsa. We've made plenty of tomato jam with the cherry tomatoes. And so now I'm just kind of looking for ways to use them up. And you can only eat so many pasta salads and all the normal ways we eat cherry tomatoes, right? And so I went looking for some inspiration and I came across an idea that I thought sounded delicious. And it was for a cherry tomato cobbler. So I looked at numerous recipes. None of them were exactly what I was looking for. And so we're just going to kind of pull from that concept and make up a recipe ourselves. But it's going to have the cherry tomatoes, it's going to have onion and garlic. Ours is going to have some red peppers because my garden is also giving me some sweet red peppers right now. And then we're going to top the whole thing with cheesy biscuits. Pop it in the oven and bake it, and I think it's going to be really delicious. So if you've never heard of a cherry tomato cobbler before, welcome, because it's brand new to me too. But that's how we find new recipes we like, right? We got to branch out. So the first thing I need to do here is get my onions chopped up and get them sauteing in the pan. Some of the recipes called for caramelized onions, and that would probably be really delicious, but that also takes quite a bit of time. And I'm looking for something that's a little quicker than that. So these we're just going to saute up for a while until they start to get tender and translucent. And then we'll add in other ingredients. Do you guys have recipes you like to use cherry tomatoes in that are maybe less conventional? Because let me tell you, my plants, they are still loaded with cherry tomatoes. And I'm going to need to use them up. So these onions are chopped up and we can get them into our pan. All right, so we're going to get our skillet on. Get just a little bit of oil in this pan for our onions. I did go ahead and chop up the peppers as well because it occurred to me they need to soften too. So we're just going to get these in our pan and add a little salt as well to help them start releasing liquid and soften up a little bit. There we go. I do think I'm going to chop the cherry tomatoes, which is going to be a bit of a job, but I don't want somebody to bite into a really hot cherry tomato and have it burst in their mouth or even explode on their face or something. So I think for safety's sake, it's going to be better to chop those cherry tomatoes up. So while this is cooking down, I'm going to get to work on the cherry tomatoes. Our onions and peppers are nicely softened up, so I'm going to go ahead and add in our garlic here. Let that cook for a minute. If you don't know, you always want to add your garlic a little bit later because it cooks quite a bit faster than the onions will. And if you let it cook too long, they tend to get burnt. The garlic pieces do, and they'll taste bitter. So just always wait a few minutes before you add those in. I can already smell the garlic here in the pan. While our garlic is sauteing, I want to get started on our biscuit topping. And so the first thing I need to do for that is get a stick of butter melted, half a cup if you don't have sticks. But just gonna pop this in a container, safe for the microwave, and get it melting in the microwave. Our garlic is sauteing up nicely. And so I think it's time to add in our tomatoes. Oh, there's a tomato I missed. Better get that one sliced up. There we go. I am going to add just a little bit more salt to this, some cracked pepper, I think for just a little bit more garlic flavor, we're going to go ahead and add some garlic powder as well, even though we have that fresh garlic in there. And I am going to add some Italian seasoning to this. So this has things like marjoram, parsley, oregano, rosemary, sage, lots of flavors that go really well with tomatoes. So it might seem kind of strange to add liquid to this when I'm telling you I expect these tomatoes to put off a lot of moisture, but I am just going to mix some tapioca starch into just a little bit of water. This was just a couple of tablespoons here. And I'm going to actually add this into our filling so that it'll be a nice thick filling. I can smell those herbs already and it smells wonderful. Just make sure we've got it all stirred up nicely. We're going to add our filling in here. And I don't actually need this burner on anymore because everything that needed to be cooked on the stovetop is nice and cooked. So I'm going to get our filling all nice and mixed in, or our starch mixture, and then get this spread out in our pan. And we'll get our biscuit topping made. Isn't it so pretty with the different colored tomatoes? I also like that they have different flavor profiles. I did forget. I want to add some chives into our savory biscuit topping, and so we need to run out to the garden and grab some. It's kind of wild out here, but it's still giving me food, so that's the most important thing, right? I am so thankful for these patches of chives that I can just run out here and get what I need. All right, you guys, I got my chives and got them all chopped up, so now we can make our biscuits. This is so easy. It's 2 cups of flour. I'm using Bob's Red Mill 1-to-1 baking mix. I find it works really well in things like biscuits. Pretty much anything quick bread related does well with the Bob's Red Mill 1-to-1 mix. So 2 cups of flour, or stick of butter, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, a cup of almond milk. You can use regular milk if you can have that. A tablespoon of baking powder, And if you wanted just plain old traditional biscuits, you could stop here. You could add a little bit of sugar. We're going to add our chives and we're going to add some cheese. So I have our chives here. I would guess I ended up with about a 1/4 cup of chives. We're going to add a handful of cheese, probably about a cup. I'm using a Swiss and Gruyere blend because that is what I have on hand today. But this would be great with like a cheddar. A sharp cheddar would be fantastic. I also think we're going to add some cracked black pepper to this. I think that'll be a nice addition. And then I need to grab a whisk. If you don't have a Danish dough whisk, this is my favorite whisk for making anything bread-like. And for the longest time, I didn't get one because I thought it would be expensive. And then it ended up being like $6 on Amazon. So if you've wanted one and haven't got one, you should definitely take a peek and find them because they are fantastic. Back when I was making sourdough all the time, they just came in so handy for getting everything mixed together. All right, our dough is all mixed up. I am going to use an ice cream scoop to dollop biscuits on the top here. I'm glad I added those chives. They'll add a wonderful flavor, but the pretty green flecks are my favorite. I'm gonna brush the top of these biscuits with a little bit of cream. And then this is gonna be ready to go in the oven. Y'all, this smells so good. It looks pretty darn delicious as well. Yummy, yummy. It smells so good, you guys, and it looks delicious. So we're gonna dig in. Get some tomato filling. Biscuit. Oh, it looks and smells just wonderful. Biscuits are nicely cooked through. I don't think I mentioned, I cooked this at 375 for 45 minutes and it just came out really nice. The filling is a little thickened. It's not super runny, but it's not like nasty gooey either. It's a really nice texture. I'm a little bit afraid to take a bite and burn myself. This is really good. I don't really know how to describe it. It's definitely got tomatoey, tomato saucy kind of flavors to it. But then it's got that biscuit on top. Very comforting. I'm a fan. I would definitely recommend giving tomato cobbler a try if you haven't. I'm gonna take another bite. Yeah, it's really good. It's just different than anything I've had before. But that was the whole point, was that I was looking for something different, right? So we'll eat that once we're done here. But I can highly recommend tomato cobbler with a cheesy chive biscuit. Really good. So thanks for hanging out with me today, you guys. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Bye.